Hello, we are Group 2 of Class MBA 20, Hanoi University, and today we're going to present the group research presentation that focusing on the financial strategy analysis of two companies from two different industries. And first of all, I would like to introduce the members in our group. There are 5 members: Ms. Hằng, Mr. Chung, Ms. Chang, Mr. Lộc, and I am Dong. And for the table content of our presentation, first we will have the introduction of the presentation, and then we will go through the overview of the two companies, which is CMC Corporation and Saigon Security Inc. After that, we're going to focus on the financial strategy analysis of these two companies and with the comparison between them, and then eventually the conclusion of the presentation. And first of all, we understand that it is very crucial for any company to well establish the financial strategy in line with the company's mission, vision, and strategy. Typically, a financial strategy comprises of 3 key platforms called disciplined investment, prudent balance sheet management, and cash return to shareholder. The first one, disciplined investment, means that the capital should be allocated to investment opportunity with highest returns in the positioning and attractive sectors. And in order to do this, the company has to have a constant portfolio assessment to ensure that the assets and the sector in line with the strategy and returns above the cost of capital. And secondly, the second component, prudent balance sheet management. It means that the company could have high credit rating and have to robust the business throughout the economic cycle. It means that the board of directors must foresee the risk and budget and finance for its operation. And lastly, any financial strategy must aim at creating the most cash return to shareholder. And of the two companies that we choose, the CMC Corporation and Saigon Security Inc., they are both leading ones in the industry. One is in the telecommunication industry and the other in the security industry. And each of the two companies has a specific financial strategy, and the value added to investor is totally different. One of the two is considered one of the blue chip in Vietnam stock market, while the other one is not the favorite one amongst the Vietnamese investor. One of the two companies regularly pays dividend to the shareholder at an acceptable rate. Meanwhile, the other has not paid any dividends since 2010. And both companies do not choose the aggressive strategy, but the vision of the leaders and the right strategy and tactics, including financial one, have made the difference. This also reflects the importance of corporate finance function in creating the business outcomes and value to shareholder. The following analysis will have to explore more, and the analysis will focus on their market value added, that partly reflected in their stock price, as well as their economic value added and performance, which has resulted from their investment and funding strategy. Macro and micro factors that affect their performance will also be identified in the analysis. And throughout this presentation, the differences between the two companies will be highlighted, and the corporate financial function and its contribution to the performance of the company and shareholders value creation will also be mentioned. And next, Mr. Chung will continue the presentation with the overview of the two companies, CMC Corporation and Saigon Security Inc.
Okay, now I would like to introduce two corporations in Vietnam. one in IT field and one in security. First is the CMC Corporation. CMC, okay. Index. As you can see here, CMC is one of the leading technology group in Vietnam with more than 80 years of establishment and development, being organized follow the model of parent member company with 10 members operating throughout Vietnam and many countries over the world. CMC has confirmed its position in domestic market and moves to regional and international markets through key business activities such as system system integration, software service, telecommunication, internet, computer and ICT item manufacturing, ICT program distribution. Consistent to the direction to the considering ICT as a key capacity, CMC has constructed and developed the professional working environment for the more than 1,800 employees and gained many considerable achievements in the production and business activities. For many continuous years, CMC is managed to keep a brisk growth rate of more than 70%, with the revenue in 2000 is 5,000 billion Vietnam dong, and it is estimated that this number will continue increasing strongly in the coming year. CMC have a strategy to continue investments and developments in the key ICT business sectors and expand to the European, American, Japan market, and so on to become the leading ICT groups with the competitive capacity in the regional and international markets. Organizational structure you can see here. First is the highest is a shareholder, general meeting, supervision board operator, and some board of the management and some the department here. Here is some key person of the CMC groups. Teaming with the chairman of board of director and Nguyễn Trung Chính, the vice chairman of board of director and CEO, and so on. Yes, some member you can see here in the website cmc.com.vn, and now we would like to introduce about the Saigon Security Incorporation at i.com.vn. Yes, as you can see here, Saigon Security Incorporation is one of the first security companies in Vietnam in Vietnamese security market, and it was founded in 1999 with a head office based on Ho Chi Minh City and two main operation: brokerage service and investment advisory. In 2014, SSI had charter capacity over five, over 3,000 and 3,500 thousand billion Vietnam dong, very big in Vietnam. The SSI is a leading and reputable financial corporation in Vietnamese markets, such as honor as HNX as an exemplary member and top 10 securities firm with selected share in brokerage service at HOSE, Ho Chi Minh City Stock Market in 2013. Top 500 Vietnamese largest private enterprise VNR 500. Top 1,000 enterprises with the largest stock contribution in Vietnam V1000 and so forth. With the sound financial potential, large and professional employee of the company, SSI always provide to all its customers to outstanding level of the products and services and maximizing shareholders' interest. SSI have an intensive brand network in Vietnam at major cities such as Hanoi, Ho Chi Minh City, Nha Trang, Vũng Tàu. SSI provides a wide range of international standardized products and services for the institutional, individual, domestic, and foreign customers. SSI have gained credibility not only from local but also from global clients and partners. Some outstanding clients from SSI are Morgan Stanley from American, HSBC, Vinamilk, Gia, one biggest company in Vietnam, Vietnam National Petroleum Group, Petrolimex, Credit Suisse, BIDV, ANZ City Group, Prudential Vietnam, Deutsche Bank, and so on. Besides, SSI has always been a gateway for foreign investors looking to invest in Vietnam's financial market. Especially, Gateway to Vietnam is an annual event of SSI which has become a greatest financial event of the year, winning prize in domestic and international financial markets, and it attracted hundreds of leading Vietnam enterprises representatives as well as investors and financial experts from the local and foreign institutions. A company with the rapid development speeds of the information technology in financial sector, SSI has totally transformed itself to meet heads on with the challenge and to set a concrete foundation for the future success. Restructuring to have a compact but highly specialized human resource structure and maintain a stable, high-performance and recurring infrastructure to meet the high demand of daily operation. Now we will introduce the answer of the question about the, the profit from the CMC and SSI in subsector. The question is evaluation the risk return relationship of each company's share price in the relation to other firms in the same industry and other firms in the different industry, highlighting the firm, industry, and market-specific characteristics such as historical return, standalone risk, market risk, and growth risk, etc. Now, I will show you about that. As you can see here, we have calculate the CMC first with the WACC calculation use some method. Here is the regression method with Excel QM. Now with some data point here, we have calculate the some factor here. The calculate filter out some parameter that shows the risk and return risk relationship with SSI standalone risk. Not here. Oh, I'm so sorry. I will just go to SSI now. Yeah, with the same method with regression model, I will calculate calculated some factor here. The parameters just show the risk and return relationship with SSI. The standalone risk of SSI standard deviation equal to 0.13. So it means that the deviation between expected rate of return and actual return is 30%, and the market risk can be calculated with beta. Beta here is 1.42, that is greater than 1, so the margin changing is wider than overall market 42%. In CMG circumstance, I will consider CMG circumstance here. Now, you see here the standard deviation. It means that the standard risk equal to 0.14. It means that the standard risk is 14%, and similar the beta coefficient of CMG is 0.991, that is smaller than 1, so the margin changing is more narrow than overall market. Furthermore, coefficient of the variance of the SSI here, coefficient of here, yes, is minus is minus 13.41 and 14 minus 14.16 with the CMC. We can say that with therefore the standalone risk that investors may be received for holding CMC is more significantly. Meanwhile, the industry beta of security is the 1.24 in the cổ phiếu 68.vn. I will show you here. With beta of industry. Yes. Okay, you can find the beta of industry here. Just figure out with CMC. The figure of industry beta is of the security is 1.24, just smaller than a little bit if compared to beta of SSI. Here, it means that the change of SSI's share also is more significant than other companies' share in the same industry because of information technology. Beta is 0.35. You can see it's in the BVSC. Here, I will show you the beta of the industry of security industry. bbsc.com.vn/bbsc index industry industrial.asph. Why? BBSC BBS index industrial. Why? Let's okay. You, you can see here the beta of the technology industry here. Opus certified. It means that the chain of RFI's share also is more significant than other companies share in the same industry. If compared to the CMG's beta is 0.91 here, which indicates that the margin fluctuation of CMG is more significant than other companies in the same industry. Both two shares beta of the CMC and SSI here are much greater than beta of all shares in the Ho Chi Minh Stock Exchange HOSE with 1.24 and 0.91 compared to 0.53 VN Index. So the share price adjustment of the SSI and CMG are larger 2 times as the share on the SOSE approximately.
I would like to present you about the intangible assets and LVA. Intangible assets is like a physical substance and how to evaluate it. Especially in Vietnam, we don't have enough the guidance in appraising the commercial value of trademark or goodwill. This has caused confusion even for tax authority, who consider such valuation to often be unreasonable and unreliable. Refer to the latest financial report of CMG and SSI, we have that the intangible assets of CMG is around 13.4 billion Vietnam dong. It's around 4% of tangible assets. Meanwhile, the value of intangible asset of SSI is around 120 billion Vietnam dong, 6 times of tangible assets. This number reflects the nature of industries of both companies. We know that CMCs work in the ICT industries, so it has to invest much on the tangible asset. Meanwhile, SSI provides the financial service, so they have to invest much on its people, its software, and its image. To understand more about the intangible asset, we apply the term of MVA, or market value added. MVA is the difference between the market value and the capital contributed by investor. Meanwhile, market value is calculated by multiply stock price with the number of shares. And we have the market value of SSI at the end of year 2014 is around 9,729 billion Vietnam dong, and the market value of CMG is 599 billion Vietnam dong. We also have the capital contributed by investor on the financial report at the end of 2014. SSI have around 3,537 billion Vietnam dong, and CMG have 673 billion Vietnam dong. Based on this number, we have the MVA of SSI is around 6,191 billion Vietnam dong. Meanwhile, CMG is a negative number. It's around 74 billion Vietnam dong. We know that the higher the MVA, the better. So based this number, we can conclude that SSI has created more wealth for shareholder and CMG has destroyed the wealth of shareholder. We can see the huge difference between the value of intangible assets and the MVA. It's understandable that the stock price of SSI may does not well reflect the value of SSI. We will have the answer for the question in the following parts of the report. In addition, there is a chance that SSI has not properly evaluated its intangible asset. More closely looking at the financial report, we have that seen that it just only recorded the value of software, land use property, and its intangible asset. Meanwhile, for such a kind of company, brand name and people are really valuable assets. We can conclude that the MVA of a firm does not sufficiently reflect the inherent intangible asset. It's not strange in Vietnam because the stock price depends on many things rather than the value of it and the efficiency of firm operation.
Okay, so now I will continue our presentation with the funding strategy analysis of the two companies, and we also will compare these two companies' funding strategy. For GMG, the total funding for the operation consists of debt and equity, with equity taking the larger part. Throughout the period of 5 years, the equity remains relatively stable in the range from 670 to 690 billion VND. However, its liability decreased from 441 billion VND in 2010 to 295 billion VND in 2014, and the current liability of CMG is always from 2 to 3 times larger than the long-term liability. Meanwhile, for SSI, the total funding of the company is from 7 to 9 times higher than that figure of CMG, and similarly, the main part for operation is also come from equity. And although the equity fluctuated, the value went down a little bit during 3 years from 2011 to 2013. However, in 2014, the value reached back to the equally the same value as of the year 2010, around 5,400 billion VND. And the debt of SSI consists mostly of current liability, because in the last 3 years there was no long-term loans. For the first 2 years of the 5-year period, the long-term loan contributed one very small part in the funding, from just 0.2 to 0.5%. And in order to understand more clearly about the funding strategy of the two companies, we will calculate the weighted average cost of capital, WACC, of the two companies. This for CMG and SSI, both of the company, the proportion of the debt and common equity are used to calculate the WACC. And so now here we calculated the CMG and SSI WACC and put the values in this table. However, to illustrate more clearly, we will open the Excel calculation. So here in this Excel file, we calculate the WACC value of CMG. And first of all, we go to stock market website like cafef.vn or cofield68.com. We collected the information of the two companies about the stock price for the period from 2010 to 2014. 2014, the 5-year period, we collected the closing price of the company at the end date of each one from 2010 to 2014. And also on those particular days we collect the VN index value, and then we put them into this table here. And using the regression model, we calculated the beta market risk of the firm, and here for CMG is 0.91. And also from these calculation and from this table value, we have the market return, we have the stock return, we have the RPM value, we have the RS value, and also from the in the financial report of the company, we know that the corporate tax for CMG, both CMG and SSI, is 22%. And also from the financial report we collected the information about short-term loan, also the long-term loan of the company, to calculate the WACC, also the cost of debt and the cost of equity. We have the total loan here, value here, we have the interest expense here, and then we have using the also some information we collected from the financial report. Yeah, the liabilities, the equities, the total asset, and using the formula to calculate, we have the cost of debt here is 0.01749, and the cost of equity is 0.08188, and with these two value we put it in the formula here to calculate the WACC, and then we have the result. It's 6.72%. And similarly for SSI, we calculate the WACC of the company is 5.62%. For this SSI company, because it has no long-term loan, so the cost of debt is 0, and the WACC is calculated only from the cost of equity. And for the comparison of the two company WACC, although they belong to two different industries, the difference in WACC between these two companies are not very distinguishable. It's not too much different. Apparently SSI has mobilized its funding with less cost than CMG. Normally, a company operating in ICT industry such as CMG depends more on debt due to loss of investment on its infrastructure, machinery, equipment. However, for a firm in finance or security industry like SSI, the company usually relies more on equity. So as for this particular situation, it can be observed that clearly that from the financial report of SSI that it has no long-term loan, and mainly using short-term loan like overdraft for its ad hoc expenditure. Next, I will continue with the factors that impact on funding strategy of the company. Well, the decision of using debt or equity for the capital funding is one of the vital issues for every organization. So there are many factors affecting the management board that needs to be considered regarding to the capital structure. For example, the sales stability, because company with steady sales will take more loans and interest charge as compared to company with unsteady sales. For example, utility firms more likely to pick debt in comparison with industry company because the former sales are more stable. The sale of the two companies SSI and CMG has not been stable, but they have mainly chosen equity for funding. SSI provides financial service, and carry out stock trading. This explains why SSI has favored short-term debt rather than long-term. Another factor that impact on funding strategy, that is asset structure. Well, this factor also influence the structure of capital. Asset can be divided into two types: general purpose and special purpose. Normally, real estate firms use the general purpose asset as they can easily be used as collateral. Thus, they are highly leveraged. However, technical research companies use special purpose assets such as specific device and machine equipment, so such firms are not highly leveraged. So for the two companies, CMG has invested more on long-term tangible assets than SSI, and reversely, SSI intangible asset value is much higher than CMG. Well, the next factor is profitability. Well, business with high ROI often try using more debt because high profitability companies finance by internally generated capital. The debt to equity ratio rise if the expected return of the company rise, and positive relationship between debt and equity ratio and returns of firm can be observed. Likewise, profitability is also a major contributing factor of capital structure. Profitability holds positive influence on leverage when it is calculated as operating income divided by total sales, and hold negative effect when it is calculated as operating income divided by total assets. The financial reports demonstrated that SSI has been good in generating profit, and CMG has met many difficulties in increasing the revenue and generating profits in the last 5 years. Well, another factor important is growth rate of the company. Normally, high growth rate companies usually depend on the external financing because the flotation costs arrive with debt issuance. Well, this is the justification for the fact that fast-growing companies depend on debt more than on equity. Both CMG and SSI have stepped in maturity state of the development cycle. That is the reason why they have not depend much on debt, but more on equity. The operating structure is also a vital cause, as businesses with less operating leverage have a better position because they have less business risk. In contrast, companies with high operating leverage suffer troubles due to high risk. It must balance between risk and return. As mentionable, both companies have good financial position because they chosen the safety operating leverage. Well, the next one is the management style. Well, this is clearly very important because different management style prefer different kind of funding. Some prefer debt, others prefer equity. So throughout the analysis, it is clearly seen that leaders of SI and CMG belongs to conservative group, and both companies have chosen the strategy not depending much on debt. Another factor is internal condition. When a business succeeds in reaching its target or any project, it is expected that there will rise in return in the near future. In such circumstances, because the stock prices do not reflect new earnings, companies do not issue equity. Instead, they use debt, and higher earnings are materialized and reflected in the stock prices. Last but not least, market condition. Choosing capital structure relies on short-term and long-term changes in market. For example, low interest rate might lead to using more debt and vice versa. Well, in short, each company must consider own factors and choose the best funding strategy that is the most suitable for its circumstance, with objective to create the highest return. Next one, I will continue with the corporate value of SSI and CMG. Well, in this section, two main methods will be used to calculate the corporate asset value of SSI and CMG. The first method is dividend discounted method, DDM. The second method is corporation valuation model, FCFF. And in this table here, we have listed all the information that we calculated from the financial report. And similarly to the previous calculation, we will open the Excel file here for the calculation. The first method, DDM, does not work on CMG because the company has not paid dividend for the last few years. However, applying it to the case of SSI, we have the intrinsic value of SSI stock is $35,685 VND. Well, in comparison with the market stop price at 31st December of 2014, the stock price of SSI is currently undervalued, and this is one of the signals attracting the investor. As for the second method, FCFF, we calculated with these number here, with this figure that we collected from the financial report throughout the year, the 5 year. We have the revenue growth rate, the net revenue, operating cost, percent operating cost per sale, fixed asset, depreciation, net fixed asset, growth in net fixed asset, current asset, short-term liability, NOWC, growth in NOWC, and percent depreciation per operating capital, and also the industry index. We have other data. These are the data we collected and we put in here exactly from the financial report of the company throughout the years, and we're using those information, and we calculated all these value here. The key input, the revenue growth rate, the operating expense as a percent of sale, the growth in net fixed asset, the growth in NOWC, depreciation as a percent of operating capital, tax rate, WACC that we calculated before, and the long run FCF growth G. With all these formula, this calculation, this figure, and then we have the result. The price per share is 25,989.96 VND. That is a CMG value, and similarly for SSI, the value is 29,808.6 thousand VND. And this method has points out that the price per share of CMG and also the price per share of SSI. However, the market price of CMG on 31st December of 2014 is only 8,900 VND, and of SSI is 27,500 VND. So both firms are undervalued. But theoretically, both these stocks are attractive with investors, but in fact, only SSI stock attract the investor. Generally, investors have not paid much attention to CMG stock. And that is the last part of my my part here. And for the next part, the economic value added of SSI and CMG, Ms. Hang will continue our presentation.
About the EVA and actions to improve EVA. We know that EVA, or economic value added, is the difference between the net operating profit and the cost of capital. Based on the financial number in 2013 and 2014, we calculate the EVA of SSI and CMG as in this table. SSI does not use the permanent debt for its operation. Thus, even though that the corporate tax changed from 25% in 2013 to 22% in 2014, the WACC is the same. In contrast, there is a little change in CMG WACC due to the trends in corporate tax. It obviously seen that SSI has not only recovered its cost of capital, but also create value to its investor. The much higher EVA in 2014 in comparison with 2013 demonstrates that SSI performance has been significantly improved. It's also seen the improvement in the operation of CMG. In 2013, CMG lost nearly 12 billion Vietnam dong, but in 2014, it produced a net operating income of around 35.6 billion Vietnam dong. This is a really positive signal in the operation of CMG. However, CMG still has a lot of things to do because EVA is still a negative number. Under the short-term assessment, it is easy to conclude that SSI has operated more efficiently and effectively than CMG. As a result, an investor should invest in SSI rather than in CMG. However, under the long-term view, it's quite hard to decide which company is better. SSI is a financial company. Its revenue and profit depends much on the change in the stock market of Vietnam, where no investor can surely foresee what will happen. Meanwhile, CMG operates in the high-tech industry. CMG might not create good profit this time, but investors can expect a better result in the future. To improve EVA, the board of directors of both companies must pay attention to below action. The main action is to reduce the cost and increase the revenue. For SSI, it should invest more in its human resource and financial analysis tool in order to have a better portfolio which produce more revenue and profit. Meanwhile, CMG must pay attention to credit policy to shorten its cash conversion cycle. This will contribute to its performance. In short, EVA is one of financial indicator to measure the performance of company. To continuously increase the EVA is one of every company objective, which is similar with the objective of increased net profit. Ways to increase EVA mainly focus on increase the revenue and decrease the cost. Every company must apply both operational and financial tactics to achieve this goal.
Major question is evaluate the economic factors impact on the performance of SSI and CMG. In 2010, the impact upon the economy from macroeconomic policy and the concern about a return of high inflation had called for buoyant in the economic growth. Although the growth of GDP in 2010 reached 6.78%, which is higher than target. The challenges resulting from inflation, exchange rate
interest rate level as well as the return on investment capital has remained. This time, investors have still favored the CMG stock, and its stock price just decreased from 27,300 BND to around 20,000 BND. Unlike CMG, SSI had fed up with negative group norm of investors, which led to its stock price drop 2.5 times to 32,000 BND. We can see the same situation for 2011. This year is the tough year for global and local economy. As a result, I only earned 848,043 billion VND in revenue. This situation was similar to what CNG through its financial report in 2011. They were nearly triple and 2.3 times reduction in share price to 6,000 BND and around 14,000 BND by CNG and SSI, respectively. In 2012 marked another difficult year for both local and global domestic economies and markets. Hence, the share price of CNG slipped minimally to 4,700 BND, while SSI went up slowly to 16,300 BND. In 2013, the threat of inflation was rejected. Interest rates declined and exchange rate stably created favorable conditions for enterprise to strengthen their businesses. Also, the tendency of investors was careful to understand the market. Therefore, the market share fluctuated slightly around 4,500 BND and 18,000 BND by CNG and SSI respectively. Although 2014 had many adverse macroeconomic factors affecting the development and causing some big change about Vietnam stock market, such as the decrement in South China Sea or the collapse of international oil price, we also saw the positive change in the economy. As a result, CMG share price increased nearly double to 9,000 VND, while the SSI share price rose significantly to 27,500 VND. In general, the macro and microeconomic factors affect strongly to company business activity. The macro climate include inflation, interest rate, bad debt, and government policy, especially in global economic crisis in 2008. This is again Vietnam economy for long term during 2010 to 2014. Due to this reason, CMG and SSI market share decreased heavily during this time. So in that question, I want to give floor for my partner.
SSI and GMG had different investment diversification strategies. SSI has maintained a large portfolio which accounts for 56% of total assets, and this portfolio constitutes 32% invested in stock, 21% invested on bond, and 47% on bank deposit. SSI holds an investment portfolio which is categorized by short-term investment and long-term investment. Some of the investment is to the blue chip stock like BUA5 Group, Hoàng Gia Lai, FPT, Vinamilk, and so on. And some sectors they focus on like real estate, agriculture, and pharmacies. And overall, 70% of the stock portfolio has a beta more than 1. It seems that SSI portfolio is more volatile than the market, so higher volatile, higher return. Up to now, I think SSI investment diversification have head in the right direction because it creates high profit margin and larger return on equity to shareholder. And you can see SSI interested in a high beta stock selection strategy, and look at the annual report of 2014. The return on equity is 13%, almost double than that in 2013, which is much higher than cost of equities. The cost of equities is 8.8%. So I think SSI choosing the right investment. About CMG, they use defensive strategies and is focused solely on telecom sector. Only 2% of total assets are diversified, and some project they invest in like Vegigate, Bạc Hải University, and Thống Nhất Software, with the purpose of diversify investment portfolio. And they mostly this sector mostly they are focused on the telecom sector, and this sector has a beta of 0.6 to market index. So it implies that investment return will likely 40% less volatile than the market, and look at the return on equity of CMG. The return on equity is 5%. I think it is much lower than cost of capital. Look at the financial strategy of SSI and GMG. I think GMG has not pursued an aggressive strategy in financing for its operation. They finance the long-term assets by the equity capital. So long-term liability financed to long-term asset, and in terms of liquidity ratio, the current asset to the short-term debt ratio is around 1.2, which means that it has the ability to meet its current obligation. So you can see the investor can trust in its financial health. And look at the cash flow from operation and investment, as we can see the positive signal. So CMG is still on the track of investment, And on the perspective of shareholders, GMG has a problem in the financial strategy. The table shows the dismal performance of GMG. And you can see the return on equities is quite low, and also the earning before interest and tax dropped in 2011, and they didn't pay out the dividend to the shareholder after 2010. And the current earning per share is 1.5, while the main competitors like IPT have earning per share 48. So you can see the pictures, the financial performance of GMG is not good at the moment. And look at the pictures of financial performance of SSI. So you know SSI, one of the biggest security firms in Vietnam, and its main service includes security service, asset management, investment banking, and treasury. And look at the financial report in 2014. We think that SSI follow a conservative strategy, and it has not used any debt financing for its long-term asset. Its financial condition is quite strong. A current asset to short-term debt ratio is around 2, and the EBIT has significant increase in recent year. Its shareholder has paid out 10% per share, and its current earning per share is 1.6. It's quite higher than the other competitors, which is stay at 0.5. And the fixed asset turnover of SSI is much more than of the CMG, so that the management utilize the asset to generate the revenue of SSI better than CMG. So in short, you see companies in different industry pursue different financial strategy, and they reach the different performance. And overall, I think SSI better performing than the CMG. And you know, I think the financial functions is a very important department to the company, and it play a critical role to the success of the companies. The first role of the finance function is support to financial decision. It's important to make a proper decision on when, where, and how a business should acquire fund, and it also make a suggestion of correct capital structures will bring a lot of benefit to the shareholder, and it helps to minimize the cost of capital and to create a higher return on equity. Also, the second role of the financial function is support to the investment decision. This decision relates to how to allocate capital in the long-term asset to get a maximum yield in the future is one of the key questions. Financial experts must have the board of directors to evaluate the profitability and the risk of new investment, and also compare between the two projects. I mean, based on the NPV, the IRR, and the payback. And they will have the board of directors to select the correct investment decision. And the other role of financial function is decide whether you distribute all the profit to shareholder or just retain the profit to reinvestment. And I think an optimum dividend policy will have to maximize the market value of the firm. And finally, The important contribution of financial function is to maintain the liquidity position of the firm to avoid insolvency. And some of the criteria of liquidity position we also describe in the above section. And back to the case of SSI and CMG, EC realized that finance function has significant contributed to both the company's success. The above detail this has revealed the decision that the board of directors two companies had chosen. It seems that the finance function SSI work more efficiently and effectively. Here to focus on the recommendations that CMC needs to improve their financial performance in order to reach the goal of the profit, of the liquidity, and the finance function should actively engage in addressing the issue with the company. The first issue, CMG should focus on cost control to improve profit. And the second is they should also look at the investment diversification strategy. They can diversify to other sectors to get a higher return than the telecom sector, and also CMG should consider to look at revenue and cost to evaluate by each product and field to see the efficiency of each field. And they also have to maintain a proper cost structure. And finally, they should also set a KPI for EBITDA margin for each product. And that's the suggestion for the CMG.
In conclusion, as indicated in the beginning, the objective of this research was to apply financial strategy techniques and company valuation technique on the case study of SSI and CMG. Well, the analysis has revealed that different companies operate in different sectors, seem to have different in financial strategy and performance. Regarding financial performance, SSI has operated more efficiently and effectively than CMG. The financial outlook is appearing to be strong with profits made every year and dividend payments made regularly. On the contrary, CMG did not pay dividend and their net profit margin always standing lower than industry average. Based on market beta analysis, it can be seen that SSI places them a slightly riskier position than CMG with beta of 1.4 while CMG beta is only 0.9. Overall, SSI and CMG have the same financing strategy with large proportion of equity in their capital structure. The WACC analysis for both companies show nearly the same in cost of capital, 5.62% for SSI and 6.23% for CMG. Comparison of the valuation of these two companies based on DDM and FCFF model realize that both of them are undervalued with intrinsic value higher than the market price. But in terms of investment diversification, it seems that SSI has headed in the right direction because it created high profit margin and larger return on equity to shareholders, almost double in 2014. In contrast, the minimal financial performance of CMG gives us a clue that there can be some challenges to their operation. Suggestion given to the financial function might be CMG should consider their investment diversification decision and cost control to improve their performance. To sum up, SSI appears to be a good investment opportunity for investors. CMG might not create good profits at this time, but investors could consider this stock for long-term investment. Thank you for watching.